Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. The queen and bishops are the pieces that command the long diagonals. When they work together, for instance, covering 3 consecutive diagonals, these 3 amigos can have a commanding control over a section of the board. The following is a relatively short, rapid 30-minute live game I played this morning that demonstrated this strategy. Please enjoy! Let's start with a quick review. So this is chess.com's algorithm. I played quite well in this game, 91% accuracy, and the opponent made an error, which sort of led to me sort of going ahead. We both played some good moves, also some inaccuracies, and thankfully I didn't get a blunder in this game. Now let's move on to analysis. All right, so my opponent played white, I played with the black pieces, and they led with a somewhat unusual move, g3. I played e5, and then they fianchettoed their light square bishop to g2. So apparently this is the Anderson opening, so somewhat unusual, so unorthodox opening. Against, something like this, I have no particular, opening theory that I'm working on or preparation. So I just try to play in a principled way. So I try to control the center, develop my pieces, castle. So obviously you can't play d5 right away, with the bishop commanding that diagonal. So knight f6. They play a3, which is interesting. And now I play a d5. So I think the Anderson opening might actually start with a3 traditionally, and it's sort of like a waiting move to see what black would do. Opponent plays c4. I defend with c6. So apparently it would have been okay to capture directly. I wasn't so sure. I wanted to maintain control of the center with my pawns. So that's good to know. They capture my d pawn. I capture back now with the c pawn. So now 2 pawns in the center. They play d3. I develop my other knight, c6. They play e3. I play bishop d6. And they now play h3. So interesting, interesting development here. I now short castle. They develop knight e2. And at this point, I thought about developing my other bishop to e6, or maybe making a break for the center prior to them having castled. And I opted to eventually do a break before developing the bishop. And I thought that the opponent may well try to short castles. That looks like what they're trying to aim for. And if that were the case, potentially I thought I might want my bishop on the other diagonal. So that's one of the reasons why I actually delayed developing the bishop here. Here they did what I did not expect, which was to capture my knight with that fianchettoed light squared bishop. I thought that was okay. That allows me to bring my b pawn, now sort of joining these other pawns. So I thought that was pretty good for me, and Stockfish agrees. Pawn captures pawn captures back. And at this point, I'm thinking that I'm actually doing pretty well out of the opening. So they capture the pawn now with the knight. I thought that was okay because, yeah, now I've got the bishop on this diagonal. That knight hasn't really got very many places that it can go. No, potentially, I suppose they could go to this square, but at the moment, there's not much mobility for that knight. They now short castles, and I would note that with these 2 pawns having moved, that fianchettoed bishop now having been gone, there are some problems with the defense of the king that I thought that I could exploit. So here I already saw the potential for that light square bishop. Obviously that controls, that controls that diagonal, and if I could get the queen here, then that would potentially be checkmate. They make a bishop move, bishop e3, which I don't think really helps support the defense of the king. And now I open up the diagonal by moving the pawn forward to c5, a threat on the knight. Opening up that diagonal now, that bishop controls that diagonal, and of course the queen controls that diagonal. So the three amigos are controlling three consecutive diagonals, all facing the king after castling. So that's in their little, ostensibly their little safe place, but doesn't look that safe. The knight moves out of the way, but that just straight up hangs at knight. So still looking at that pawn. They bring their other knight out, but again, that doesn't really address the issue. So now captures. Now it's a mate threat in 1. They finally see that. However, that allows me to capture back with knight. Captures again. Mate threat in 1. Attempt to block with the pawn, but of course that doesn't work. And of course, this is already unavoidable checkmate now because I now have check, and on this diagonal, checkmate. So this was a fairly short game, but shows the power of sort of the queen and the bishop pair working together to control 3 consecutive diagonals facing the king, particularly after castling. It's a very, very effective strategy. Anyway, great game with the opponent. GG. The insights that I had from this game is to be wary of impulsive trading of pieces early in the game. My opponent traded their fianchettoed light square bishop early, and this would have been an important defender for the king after castling. My bishop pair and queen overwhelmed the relatively sparse defenders on the king side, resulting in checkmate. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.